But that's alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max and up Borderlands video, and today we're updating Firehose Moze, my most popular Moze build. Now, this build, it's not that like anything's got nerfed or changed too much that Firehose Moze like didn't work. Basically Firehose Moze is now 7 months old, the last iteration of it. So I wanted to give it an update with fresher gear, with all the new items, talk about the changes that happened to Moze, and give you guys the best all-around Moze build that I can. There's no flashy gimmicks or nerfable interactions here. It's just a good old-fashioned build that can do all content, bossing, and mobbing. And if you ask me what Moze build I'd recommend you use, this is the one I'm going to throw out first. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It does help me out so much. And with that, guys, let's get right into the video. So for the format of this video, we're going to start with the gear and the weapons that you're going to need for this build, and then we'll go into the skill tree and break that down. And at the bottom, there should be a like little timestamp bar to basically scroll to what part of the video you need to watch. Now, start us off, guns and gears. And Firehose Moze, throwing it back to 2019, originated from using the Kibsworth on Moze. I was sick of seeing so many rocket launcher Moze builds, and I wanted to do something different. And that is where Firehose Moze, an SMG-based Moze build, came from. And I wanted to stay true to its roots. The Kibsworth just received a 150% damage buff. It is amazing. It's so good on this build. I do not think it is the best SMG for this build. Unfortunately, Kibsworth, very strong. It can come in all elements. It definitely has some edges over some of these other SMGs, but I do not think it is the best SMG in the game. I do not think it is the best SMG for this build, but Kibsworth, consecutive hits, really strong, fairly easy to get now, and all around good. It's got the healing circles. The biggest downside of this thing is, one, it can do self-splash damage, and its damage, while really strong, not quite as strong as our next weapon, the Plasma Coil. The Plasma Coil, honestly, not my favorite weapon to use. It's a little chunky feeling. I don't love the like faux burst that it does, but this thing with a 390 anoint, and I know it sounds super weird to use 390 on something that's not like a sniper or one-tap rocket launcher, but using 390 on this thing with fire in the Skag Den, short fuse, big surplus will basically guarantee that you just one-tap any enemy, which does make the mobbing feel a little bit smoother on this. You just basically can just move to different enemies with this thing, and they'll just literally one-tap all of them with this thing. Splash damage. It's really good. And the Plasma Coil is probably the best weapon that you can use on this build. It's certainly the strongest. You're never going to need to reload it because of its slow fire rate. And with the Blastmaster, which is the class mod we're using here, you will just shred everything. Next up, the Flipper. Really good. Flipper was the new weapon that we added to Firehose Moze. Still super strong. I would rank this probably as my third favorite. And then next up, we have the Crit. Now, the Crit got a huge buff, and this thing is so good on Moze. It's beautiful. I love using it. I really, really do. Yes, it is shock locked, but it heals you, meaning that you do not need to spam grenades. So if the like crazy grenade throwing that Moze kind of sometimes does to stay alive and to regen her ammo, if you do not want to do that, I absolutely recommend the Crit. It's very strong, not quite as strong for bossing as some of these other options that I have here, but just for general mobbing, the Crit is just like a breath of fresh air. That sounds kind of weird. By the way, the anoints that you're going to be rocking for most of your weapons is consecutive hits. Next two mags you can pull out. I do think consecutive hits is the best option, and then the Plasma Coil, I'll either run a like next two mags for bossing, or if you can rock Splash on all these things is really good for bossing. Splash is probably your best bossing anoint, and 390 in the Plasma Coil for like general mobbing. Next up, the shield. So the shield that this build was last updated with is the Old God. Old God, still very strong all-around shield, right? It's just good. The Old God is just a good, solid shield. It's not better than the Revolter, though. The Revolters, I don't think I've made a build video in the past few days that hasn't used the Revolter. It gives you fire rate, which is perfect for Moze. We love fire rate on Moze. We're going to have infinite ammo with this build. And when it depletes, you're going to get 200% extra shock damage on all your things. Because we're not a Bloodletter build, our shield is going to go down fairly often. In fact, this build, sometimes I'll play just without a shield or like even a Rough Rider to get more health because your shield will always be dropping. We are doing absolutely nothing to regen our shield. So a Revolter that's always going to be constantly triggering, giving you that random boost. Plus, we're going to be using action skill start on this thing so that when we trigger Iron Cub, we can get instantaneously that damage boost. It's very, very nice. Action skill start. Now, the most important thing to have on this, you could use an ASE, but I do think action skill start's a little bit better. Cloning Maddening Tracker on grenade throw. You know what it is. This is simply the best grenade you can use for Moze for healing because of the amount of times that it hits an enemy per grenade throw. You're going to heal based on the amount of times that your grenade hits something. So having points into Vampire and throwing a Cloning Maddening Tracker will get you to full health. Some people don't like this. There are substitute grenades. The Epicenter is a solid one if you do not have a Cloning Maddening Tracker. Blastmaster, and then the Maliwan Company Man. Now, I did get a perfect Maliwan Company Man. This one's pretty much freaking perfect. It is gross. If you do not have a amazing Maliwan Company Man, which probably a lot of you do not, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge is still a great choice. It can, for most scenarios, Pearl, very good. But if you can roll area of effect damage as just one of their stats on your Maliwan Company Man and some extra damage, will probably be better with a Maliwan Company Man. So I do recommend that. And then if you want to like use a rocket launcher like the Backburner or a Kick Charger, make sure to switch to something aka Vladov Company Man. That'll work better for you. So the skill tree should be showing on screen right now. And the biggest thing that I went for when picking the points for the skill tree is I wanted for it to be good with any weapon you picked up. Any weapon you want to use. This, I wanted Fire Hose Moze, or Fire Hose Moze is basically like my Chaos Queen of Moze builds. It's just you pick up whatever gun you want, you rock a Blastmaster and a good shield, and you can go. And that's what this is more geared towards. Fire in the Skagden, don't really need to explain this skill. Mayhem Scaling, still very good. Means of Destruction, Torque Cross Promotion, Stainless Steel Bear for more Fire in the Skagden damage. Pull the Holy Pin, Auto Bear. I don't have any points spec'd into Vampire, but that's because my class 1 specs into it. You don't need any more points than 2 into Vampire to keep your health up at full when throwing grenades, but mine is unfortunately spec'd into 4. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. With Cloning Maddening Trackers, you don't even need full Pull the Holy Pin because the amount of times that they're going to be critting is crazy because of the amount of times that they actually hit. So just even a 20% crit chance, because I only need this to proc ever so often so that I'm getting redistribution for my ammo regen. This redistribution ammo regen is the bulk of our ammo regen, and the reason we do not need to go all the way down to Forge. If you are having ammo regen problems, take these 2 points out of Scrappy and put them into Match Set. I tried Match Set. I wasn't running out of ammo. Tried Scrappy. I wasn't running out of ammo. I do like mainly this weapon swap speed, mode swap speed that we get from Scrappy when we're using Maliwan weapons like the Plasma Coil or the Kibsworth that you can change your firing mode. It's just nice to have, nice little quality of life, plus a little bit of more handling and weapon damage. Rushing Offensive, it's a good pickup. I like having it. You don't need it if you're throwing grenades. Scorching RPMs, Iron Bank, and then some for the road. Now, the reason I go and I put some for the road in is because when Iron Cub dies, we're going to get some for the road. It works the same as exiting Iron Bear. Iron Cub dies, you get some for the road. Now, the biggest decision, I guess, here versus like OG Fire Hose Moze is that we're going to be killing Iron Cub. And you were not going to be killing Iron Cub. We're having Iron Cub kill itself. The reason we want Iron Cub to kill itself is because we want big surplus. While Moze's action skill is cooling down, she deals bonus incendiary damage. Now, I typically just rock Iron Cub down all the time. I won't put any points into Grizzled, won't put on anything for action skill cooldown, and just rock big surplus all the time. The only reason I didn't do that is because I do like being able to have the Revolter back. If you're getting annoyed by calling out Iron Cub and killing itself, you could take these points out of Grizzled. But basically, the way that this works is if you summon Iron Cub with the grenade launcher, you need either the V35 or the Shaped Charge one. When I call out Iron Cub here, It's gonna kill itself in like a millisecond. Now it's gone. Now I have, as you can see, well, I went into fight for my life, so I lost it. But I get that ammo, and now I get big surplus for a duration of time. I get a few kills. I can proc it again, cycling my ASCs. It's just really, really nice. Guys, that is pretty much it for the build video. Not too much else to explain. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. Drowning in brass, experimental munitions, armored infantry, all good stuff. Basically, this is just a do-it-all Moze build, and it's just all around very good. For bossing, I do want to say this real quick. For bossing, Blastmaster is still really strong. You're going to be better off for bossing, just better off if you swap to a Flare class mod. Do I have a Flare on me? Flare class mod, put on a kick charger with 390 or 200% splash, proc your Iron Cub, proc your Revolter, flare for the 100% damage increase, and then shoot with the kick charger, and just anything you shoot at will be dead. Guys, that is it for the video. I will catch y'all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.
I was putting in the